home from service and began to start his own small business.
It's amazing. You've been working against any war ever since. You've been working against the Vietnam War, the Gulf War, and now this Cold War.
Saved up the money to buy the cars he drove. Never had a credit. My mother, old upbringing, never got to go to college, but believed with all her heart in education and in the promise of this country, and instilled those values in me.
Oh, really?
And I have tried to live by those lessons.
Oh, really?
My family and
Did you
my
give a shit that your husband was shitting on you, or did you somehow manage to miss that?
But if you had something, you were supposed to share it. You were supposed to do unto others as you hoped they would do.
Oh, let's have a sharing community.
But you should be
all those who work and all those who do not work.
Well,
let's make sure everybody
all live by the golden rule instead of how we conduct it today.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So for me, it was a privilege to try to do all the work I've done over all these years. Because what I care about is what actually happens in people's lives. It's not an abstraction for me. When I can help a father who calls me and says, I don't know what I did wrong. I paid my premiums. I've always been a good employee.
That's
and now
right.
the first
It's
time
the United States healthcare system that is at fault.
Tells me I can't get my son the treatment he needs for the rare disease he's suffering from.
Let's use people's poor health as a fucking political vantage point.
I'll remember.
Somehow it is all of America's fault that this man cannot afford health care.
Evicted from her home right here in
She's been evicted from the homeless, the tired, the sick. When will the government stand up for the well-being, for the men who have worked for themselves, for the men who have built their own homes and built their own families? Must we continually bend over backwards for these imaginary figures of the downtrodden?
I have learned
the entire system be turned over for the few.
You cannot pretend that the system doesn't exist. Think about what it took for Teddy Roosevelt to take on the trust.
Teddy Roosevelt was a goddamn cunt.
Social Security, or for Lyndon Johnson to give us voting rights and Medicare. They got big things done.
Oh, Lyndon Johnson's okay as long as we're not mentioning the Vietnam War. Amazing.
It was about the results. And that's what we have to do again. We need to dream big.
People money. Evicted. Anyone who cannot afford health care, we the government, with your tax dollars, must pay for everyone. And then we must pay for their food. And then we must pay for their housing. And then we must pay for their cars and their cable. Everyone must be rich. It is their right to be rich. They don't need to work.
Over the past 14 years, I've learned that when you want big changes, you need to build a consensus in America.
Oh, really?
We have 300 million people with 300 million opinions. And we have to bring people together to find a way.
We need to bring people together. Ma'am, your party has been calling the President of the United States a murderer.
Pass a new law.
We need to bring people together. Are you fucking kidding me?
Process that involves a lot of preparation and just plain perspiration. Ultimately, to bring change, you have to know when to stand your ground and when to find common ground.
What is your ground?
You need to know when to stick to your principles.
Ground is for big government to take care of everyone, isn't it?
Compromises.
Because you're a Stalinist, and you're a cunt.
And compromise alone, or you'll lose what you're fighting for.
What are you fighting for?
You can't always demand everything your own way, or you'll never get anything done.
Oh, so you should lie to the people because you can't demand everything to have your own way. You should pretend to be something else because you should pretend to have no principles. You shouldn't stand up for what you believe in.
Screened for cancer, to rebuild
cancer, dead people, healthcare people, the homeless people being evicted. Let's use all these people to get in the office.
In New York, I've reached
as opposed to the Republicans who just want everyone to be rich by cutting their taxes and letting them work in a society where the government doesn't tell them what to do, where they can actually make a fucking living. No, the Republicans are evil because the Republicans don't want to hand them shit. The Republicans want people to work for themselves. Evil Republicans. I'm sorry that I'm white. I'm sorry that I'm a Republican. I'm sorry that I'm a conservative. and want to protect this fucking country. Die in a fire, Hillary Rodham, blowjob, Clinton.
Democratic answers to the problems that face us. I don't think there are right or left solutions.
She doesn't believe in right or left solutions. She's above it all. She's above politics. There is no difference between right and left. They're all the same. Tax cuts, tax increases, war in Iraq, not war in Iraq. There's no difference between the right and left. They all mean the same fucking thing, or so you've been told.